So let's have a look at what are the types of data management systems we have. We have hierarchical database, we have network database, relational database, and object-oriented database as well. Now we will have a look at all these databases and what are those databases stands for. Let's start with the hierarchical database. So it is a data is when your data is structured in a tree-like manner, right? So that time you can say your database in a hierarchical database. Those data are stored in hierarchically, like top-down or bottom-up order. And also they are represented by parent-child relationship. In hierarchical DBMS or the database management system, parent can have many children, but in the case of children have only one parent. So you need to understand these concepts to implement this type of database management system. Now let's have a look at the network model. But what is network model? The concept of network database model allows all the child to have multiple parents, and also it helps to solve the more complex models like as the order or paths many to many relationship like this. Entities are organized in a graph manner which have an option to be accessed through several paths. So this is what known as network model. Now let's have a look at relational model. So before start with relational model, let me give you a scenario that most of the companies and most of the cases we use relational model because it helps to make a relation between tables, right? So relational database management system are mostly used DBMS model because of its flexibility and easy to implement nature. This model is worked on normalizing data in the database, and relational model store the data in a fixed structure and manipulate them using SQL. And we will also have a look at what is SQL. Now we will have a look at what is object-oriented model. I think you guys are quite familiar with what is object-oriented language. So this type of database also kind of an object-oriented language, right? So in object-oriented model, concept data are stored in a form of objects, right? So in OPS concept, there is a main concept we know that is objects. It's maintain a structure which is known as classes and display the data within that, right? So I think you guys can get a similarity about the object-oriented language and object-oriented model. It describes the database as a collection of objects. It also stores data members, values, and operations both. So this is how we have the lots of options of database management system, and any order you can store your data using any one of them. Now we will have a look at the advantages of database management system. So what are the advantages we have for database management system? For that we can go for our data to be shifted in DBMS, right? Now we will have a look at the advantages. So DBMS has lots of techniques to store, manipulate, and retrieve your data, and this is very easy to do that as well. And DBMS is considered as a most efficient handler to balance the data as well. A DBMS uses lots of powerful functions to store, manipulate, and data efficiently when your data is a big number, right? And data integrity and security is one of the most strong part of DBMS. So whenever we are going to talk about security, when you are actually using a organization data, that time you have to make sure that your data is secure, because in your data there are lots of hidden information will be there. So that time if you want to use a traditional tool to maintain your data, maybe your data is not secure. So in that case, DBMS is the best choice for you to go for storing your data, because DBMS has a high security and there are lots of security reasons as well where you can make your data secure. The DBMS use data integrity to protect data and maintain the privacy. Also, it helps to reduce application development time, right? So we will look into all those things, how actually it can reduce the application development time as well.